Sentimental is a podcast for those who realize that the enjoyment of life is about having something deep in our souls which lights our fire. It's for those who maybe have lost that fire and feel like they are missing out on the pleasures of life. In each episode, I will share recent fun activities and focus on why having fun is essential for good health. I'm your host, Alenia, and I invite you to take this journey with me and join the pleasure-seeking movement. All right, so I know I had said that we would have the episodes go back and forth between interviews and solo episodes, but I don't always keep my promises. I'm just gonna be honest. The solo episodes that I have on, they're just not that good and compelling. Like, I was gonna release something that was about like going to improv and about how good laughter is, but I feel like it's just kind of a no duh. Like, we all know laughter is good for us and that we don't laugh enough. And I don't really, nothing I was going to say was going to be like that, like life changing and, something that you could take something away from and better your life with necessarily, because you already know that you need to laugh. You already know how good laughter makes you feel. So there just didn't seem like there was a point to me releasing it. I probably will just scrap it, and I hopefully will have something of merit and worth to give to the world that's a solo episode at some point. But I'm sitting on a bunch of interviews that have something for the world, and I definitely am a lot more excited for what that will be. So this is another interview, and this one is with Jenny Lee, and she has been a teacher for over 20 years, and she tells her story about having some life events that really took a toll on her, and how she really reconnected with herself after postpartum depression and divorce. And she started really focusing on self-care, and particularly like taking mornings, because that's like really like the time that she could take for herself and make them really like the sacred thing. And the ripple effect that it had on her life. And now she's using the knowledge and gift that she gave to herself to help other women to give back to themselves. I'll have more of her bio and information about her in the show notes and ways for you to connect with her. But yeah, she has a lot of great insight, and it's just like, so many people are so miserable every single morning, and we're just trying to get through. It's like this painful thing where we're just like, I'm just trying to get through this day and this day and this day and this week and this month and this year, and we're just hoping for our lives to be over, basically, because we're so dissatisfied with like our jobs and stuff. But your job doesn't have to be everything to you. And she basically is saying, yeah, this didn't change. I still am a teacher. And, that's not an easy job, I know for myself. But she, is doing all this stuff for herself that like she's in a beautiful place, even though that didn't change. So I hope that you take something from what she has to say. You start to take some of your own life back, and take ownership of your own life. I think is kind of, because it can be really a beautiful thing when you are just really present for yourself. I hope that you enjoy this interview with Jenny Lee. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I am excited because I get to talk about my favorite topic, and I'm here in Connecticut, and it's getting warmer, and I've been going outside a lot more. So yeah, that's like an awesome thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I always is like so uplifting when the weather starts getting nice, and then you're just like, I feel so awake and excited for the day.
Yeah, well, I wake up early, and it's just kind of interesting, at least here, usually for the most of the time and during the year, it doesn't get any light until like 6:30, right? And lately we've been getting some sunlight like at 4:45 or 4:40.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I love it. Like the days are longer and we could do so many more things outside. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so grateful for this time of the year. Although I also like winter.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of winter, but I think it's mostly because of the darkness. Like
Mm,
it's not even really about the cold or like because like if it snows, I'm like, oh, it's snowing. Partly because the snow's all bright and stuff, but like it's just so dark, and I just I don't like the dark.
I know what you mean. Well, I actually feel safe in the dark.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it's kind of strange, but I mean, I am a more an early riser, but like when it's time to sleep, like I like it pitch dark and it just feels so safe. It's like, being enveloped by this darkness. Um yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now we have to wear like we've been wearing eye masks to go to sleep because it's still not dark yet when we go to sleep, and it's really hard to sleep.
Ooh, stylish.
Yeah, yeah.
Way of sleeping.
Fancy.
That's awesome.
So I know that you're really into waking up early. How did you get into doing that?
So first, I'm not really, like into waking up early, to be honest with you. Um, it's like that early morning techniques and strategies that I have for myself really kind of came out of survival, you know. So I'm an English teacher, still am. I got into this morning routine because that was a way for me to make peace with my job that requires still, requires me to wake up early.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past, because I was operating from this place of depletion and I was exhausted, I'm also a mother, and like my child at that time, like when he was just born, I wasn't sleeping for months, and so for me to like wake up in the morning, like I haven't even slept, so I was
Mm-hmm.
not sleeping for months. And then I had to go back to work, right, for financial reasons, and it was just not a good arrangement, for me, because I never had a good quality of sleep. And I had to do all these things, including the job, right? I was wearing all these different hats as a mother, as a wife, as a homemaker. Um, so mornings were just tedious, awful. Like I never wanted to wake up,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, of course I didn't have a choice. But like, running in that depleted mode was taking a toll on me emotionally, physically, spiritually, like, pretty much everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was cranky and I was like confrontational because I was just irritable. All I did was just like, I was so easily triggered. And so my relationships with everybody were not good. And even at the job, it was more like, yep, constantly in the survival mode, right? And especially with me teaching in an urban setting where the kids also come from like, environments that are like, plagued with violence and drug problems and abuse, and life is tough for them. And then they would come to school, right? Like that's supposed to be a safe haven for them, but then like because I was running in such a depleted mode, I was just doing my job. I was not in a place to give them any attention or any love. I was like, just doing my job, do the lesson planning, submit it to the admin, and then like, okay, you guys do this page and that page and do your work and leave me alone, like because I was just tired. And so my relationships with the students were not very good either, right? And then I'd come home and I'd be so tired and I was not present, as a mother. Yeah. And with my ex-husband, like, my relationships were also, pretty bad at that point. And so that led to our divorce at some point. Then after that divorce, I finally got some time for myself because we had split custody. He had a few days with our son, and then I did too. Then like at some point I was just like, oh, what am I going to do with myself with all this time? Right. But then like, okay, let me do some things that I like. But still, like, the mornings for me, like, even before that, like before, like, the married life and everything, like growing up, mornings were very traumatic for me. Like I was waking up to school, like Catholic school that I did not like. I grew up in Indonesia. Okay. And when I was growing up, corporal punishment was acceptable. And my teachers were like, wow, like they seemed to be entertained by torturing their students. Like that was from my perspective. Yeah, it would be illegal like nowadays.
Yeah.
But like, when I was growing up, like they beat the students, it's like they would answer like, and they didn't like the answer, and like they beat them with this like, big ruler, right? It's horrible. And yeah, all kinds of like unusual punishments, like, you would see. It's like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had waterboarding or whatever, but yeah, of course not. Yeah. But it was not an environment that I wanted to wake up to.
Sure.
Right. And so mornings, like, to my subconscious was like this really, something to hide from, basically, right? Subconscious. And so at some point, like, after the divorce, I was still doing my job and was still having stressful mornings, right? Rushing to work and everything. And I had that like stressful energy that stuck with me throughout the day, that made my work like stressful and not pleasant. Then I took a holiday. I took a vacation to Hawaii when I was awakened by somebody, who said, like, hey, did you see the sunrise? Like, he was actually kind of like, telling that to everybody else, but like, because I was there, like, it kind of woke me up, and then I went to see the sunrise. It's like, oh, that's so beautiful and whatever. And then I realized that, oh yeah, it's only like 6:05, like it's always so early, like I'm already up, like what am I gonna do? Well, that means I just have a longer day. So that is so cool. That it was a realization for me. That I got to wake up. When I woke up earlier, I got to see more things. I got to do more fun things. I got to meet more people. So it was such a great time. And for the rest of that vacation, I was waking up early, just so I could, cover a lot more. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And I came back to Connecticut to real life. To the job, right? And so I kind of went back to that, to that mode, to the pattern that I had before.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was just like, it was just not the same for me, right? Because it's like, okay, like I had a good time, and I knew what life was supposed to feel like, and then like I'm back to this dump. Like, this is just not acceptable. It's like I can't keep on living like this. So
Yeah.
that was when I made the decision, like I need to have more fun. Like I need to, like I can't stay in this like muck, and so I started to wake up 10 to 15 minutes earlier, and so I could dance to, like, some favorite music, some favorite songs, and that made me feel so exhilarated, right? I'm having fun, and there's like this level of emotion that I haven't had for a long time,
Sure.
especially not in the morning.
Yeah.
Because mornings, I was so, my body and my mind was so used to grumpy mornings and stressful mornings. So it was like strange, but like, oh my God, it feels so good. And then I keep on doing it, right? Like, 10, 15 minutes earlier, dance. And then like, I feel better, and like work is not so bad anymore
Mm-hmm.
because I have better energy that stuck with me, right? And then I wanted to have more fun. So I woke up a little earlier, 20 minutes, right? And then 25 minutes. So I could dance a little longer. I could listen to the music a little longer. And then I extended it to like providing myself some challenge. And I made it like 30 minutes. Like then I woke up a little earlier, like, now it's 30 minutes, and I added the challenge, like some challenging movement from belly dancing. Like I used to belly dance, and I instructed belly dance for a little while. And like that, um, the move that I found difficult that time was the belly flutter and the belly roll.
Mm.
Uh, and so for 3 months, I was doing that for 10, 15 minutes, right? Practicing that, like, and, from teachers on YouTube. And I got it down. In like 3 months, right? Just 10, 15 minutes a day of practicing that. And it's like, it just felt great. I was happy. I was so much more in shape. Then it just kind of extended. Then I would start playing audiobook or podcasts while I'm, like getting ready. And then I started to extend it to like, I don't know, 1 hour. And like, I don't know, like doing other things like, oh yeah, I added a challenge, like ice cold water, like showering in this super
Oh, yeah.
yeah, for like, and it's yeah, I was just like, thinking about like different ways to approach it. But you know what? If you just make the decision, just jump in and don't overthink it, like it's really not that hard. And that actually taught me, like, for like, like all my times of procrastinating, right? It is because, I was overthinking it.
Sure.
Really, like if I just like sit down and just do it, I get it done. Just like that ice cold shower. Yeah. Um
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's like, yeah, it is a shock to the system. But then, it is so good for your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's that. And now my morning routine has extended to 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so there's like, so much in there now, like, with my movement, and then the dances, and then the challenge, and then the juicing, right? Like, yeah, I've been juicing for a while now. I do celery juice, and then after that, lemons and ginger and turmeric. They're anti-inflammatory. And then I also do some herbal teas. Then the ice shower, right? And so like all of these, like, it just kind of like um came down to 4 aspects that I cover in those
Mhm.
2 hours of self-care in the morning, just focusing on myself. And those are my emotional and physical needs, like the dances, right? It made me happy and feeling exhilarated. I'm having so much fun, and I get in shape too,
Mhm.
right? And then spiritually and intellectually. So I don't read the news. I don't listen to the news. When I listen to audiobooks or podcasts, like I make sure that it's going to be inspiring and uplifting. And it got me to learn about the world in an inspiring way, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And so that covers my spiritual and my intellectual needs. And sometimes I would listen to Deepak Chopra or Michael Singer. Like different podcasters like Michael Trainer. They cover spirituality. And Deepak Chopra used to be like a medical doctor. And so he explains like, the blend of the spirituality and the scientific side of it. And so it's just like, this cocktail of education and inspiration in the morning. It's, so it feels amazing. And so, yeah, I leave the house having been nourished,
Mhm.
right? Go to the work, like go to my work, having such better relationships with my students because I serve from a place of joy and happiness,
Mhm.
having been nourished and recharged. And so I started to like that really spills out right to my other aspects of life, like okay, well, even like okay, professional, right? Like like same, it's my relationship with like people around me, and I
Mhm.
am so much more open. And then with work, for example, now when I do my lesson planning, I ask myself like how do I make this fun, right? Because I'm so used to fun and just doing joyful things in the morning, and my body is used to all of that, right? So it's like when I was still stressed out, my body was producing so much cortisol, and like my discomfort, like all of that stress became my comfort zone, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And then like so that's why it took a while for me to reprogram my body and my mind, like little by little, to get used to the natural way, which is the happy way, the
Mhm.
joyful way. And yeah, life is so much better. And now like I still have the same job,
Yeah.
right? But like and it's still the same demographics, but I have such a different way of um working. Like, I have such a different way of seeing my work. Like it's so much happier, and I have a happier environment because of that. And so nothing changed around me. I changed.
Mhm.
Right? And that is like the most important thing that I learned, that I am now responsible for whatever happiness, whatever energy that I want to have, that I desire. I am the one who creates it. And I think that's like the most powerful lesson that I learned, like, all these years. So yeah, that's my journey. And I now, because of all of the openness that occurs during the process, right? Like, the fun and joy and the exhilaration, my body and my mind are open to just like whatever is fun, right? I
Mhm.
heighten my vibration. I'm such a happier person. And that gets me to be more open to inspiration, to possibilities. Uh,
Mhm.
and I became more creative. Then I started writing a book, and I actually self-published a book a while ago.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
and like, here I am now helping other women. to pay attention to their own well-being so that they will operate from a place of love.
Mm-hmm.
That is my way, a way of fun and
Yeah.
joy. So yeah.
Yeah, that's very inspiring story. And it's, it's empowering to a person to not be a victim of their circumstances, but you can make it, you can make your life be whatever you want it to be. Like, it's not, no one else can take that power from you.
Yeah, that's really important to think about, right? Because that's pretty much how I grew up, and like most of my life, there's this paradigm of like, it's fate. It is what it is, right? And all of these falsehoods, like, if you're a woman, like, to be a whole woman, you got to have kids and break your body taking care of your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't make sense now consciously, but subconsciously, a lot of women that I met are operating in a place of depletion,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And then you would ask them, like, okay, why are you doing this to yourself? You need to take care of yourself. And they, it's too expensive, or I don't have time, I don't have money. And so there's all these excuses to put their well-being, like, as not a priority, as the
Mm-hmm.
last on the list. um and it's really unhealthy for them and for the family and for the environment that they're in.
Yeah.
So I do hope that more uh women understand this, so
Mm-hmm.
that they make self-care, their well-being, and healthy state of mind and body, and and their spirituality, and the care of those aspects should be non-negotiable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's like, when you're operating from this place of exhaustion, it's like telling a patch of soil that is dehydrated to grow a tree. It
Yeah.
just doesn't work. You can't create from that place of depletion and
Mm-hmm.
stress. When your body is like in this survival mode, you can't create from a state like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but that would be more things that stress you out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's, as parents, like, it's like you're trying to set an example of what you want your child's life to be like, right? And if you are constantly like just like being like depleting your energy, and you're just like, you're not setting your child up for being able to take care of themselves when they're adults either.
Yeah.
Like because
You're
they
right.
see like, oh well, that's what it's like to be an adult, is like you have to
Mhm.
be miserable, and and you have to be tired all the time, and it's like,
Mhm.
well, no, don't you want to show your children like the amazing life that they have in front of them instead?
Yeah, right? Like, because when you're taking care of yourself, you're setting a good role model for your child
Yeah.
of what adulthood, could be,
Mm-hmm.
right? Productive and healthy,
Yeah.
like, not in this scarcity mode,
Mm-hmm.
which is what, all this depletion exhaustion is operating from. And yeah, exactly. And well, yeah, because from taking care of myself first, I became more present as a mother,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I connect more with my child that way. And so yeah, that's like the importance of like a solid ground, a solid place of love and nurtured, of being nurtured and nourished. And from there, you can create beautiful things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's relationships or professionally, yeah, or, creatively. So, yeah, I hope that a lot more women would get that message.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. In like in our classroom, we like read this book about like filling a bucket. Have you filled a bucket? And like you have everyone has a bucket, and it's like, is your bucket full or is it, you know, empty? And like it's about like how you treat other people, but also how you treat yourself. Like you have to fill your bucket, and then you also have to like protect your bucket from being like
Leak.
dipped. We call it dipped in the book, from other people, like, you have to protect yourself also. So I think as adults, like it's good to model that because we want that for them too. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And so yeah, I also, learned that, like, when it comes to joy and happiness, when your body is already used to all kinds of like things, that gives you joy,
Mm-hmm.
and something that makes you feel like, oh, like I want more of that because it feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like subconsciously, like your mind would start looking for more things that give you joy, right? And that's like, the beginning of a great fulfilling life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of like how I feel, how my life is right now. Like, so many possibilities.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I'm just living in this place of gratitude now, right? Because my body and my mind have been programmed for that. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
because of all the things that I do in the morning. And I am hoping to keep on maintaining this and helping more women to reprogram their mind and their body for joy and happiness through things that they love to do.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that they find to be satisfying and um, light them up. And so,
Yeah.
like for me, it's dancing, right? For other people, it's that there are different things. So that's what I help women explore. What is it that lights you up?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that, like, do you ever have anyone that you work with that has a hard time answering that?
Yeah, there are. So I think it's easy for them to kind of like be like really like gung ho at first, right? And then they kind of like, fall off the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it does, like at the beginning, it does take discipline, but it's also, this repetition of putting themselves first. And that is what is really important because like a lot of us, like, we have like, a lot of us have this subconscious narrative of like unworthiness, right? Or this feeling of like wanting to go back to old habits. Like it can be tough, but when you have already made that decision, and like stick with it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And accountability partners help, and that's actually that's how I help my clients, right?
Yeah.
Like, be there for them, and just like, keep on inspiring them, or motivating them, and keep on reminding them of what they're doing this for. So yeah, uh, those are, like the bigger picture, like, reminding them of the bigger picture of why it's so important for them to do this. It's like goddesses and queens. Yeah, they have all of these royal treatments, right? And like all these luxury, and you know what? That's what every woman deserves. Why these queens and goddesses get all those treatments, like they serve, like that's their job. They they bless the world with their energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like that's why they need to be nurtured and nourished, and just like every woman, it's like the earth, right? Soil, like healthy soil that gives out all kinds of beautiful produce and flowers and like, you know, all these life sustaining things. That's what women are, right? But and these soil, like, you know, like all of the land needs to be tilled and nourished, fertilized, like, you know, for it to stay healthy so that it can produce. And it's the same thing everywhere. Women need to be nourished, like, you know, in a like extravagant way, you know, if possible, right? Because yeah, that's what they deserve, like, for everything, all this work that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it needs to be non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Before you like when you're first starting to work with someone, do you like make sure to explore like their reasons why they why they need this, like because like I feel like with for some things, like for example, like if if you're trying to lose weight, like having your reason why, like that is a goal, um it helps you to stay on track so you can keep on revisiting that. It's like, okay, I'm doing this because of this. And so I just wonder if there's like you
Yeah,
have them
so
think of that.
when they come to me, so like, you know, my niche is really it's really specific,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so whoever comes to me for this, like, you know, they already know that they need it.
Sure.
They already make that decision that they need to make a change,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think like in the process, it's more like, you know, the old habits dragging them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of it is like, you know, that's the case. But yeah, I do have, like, you know, some success stories, but there are some that, you know, just kind of like, okay, maybe I'm not ready yet for this. Like, yeah, maybe my body and my mind are not ready to get out of this, you know, comfort zone
Yeah.
yet, right?
Yeah.
So it's really easy for them to fall back. But they know that whenever they're ready to get back on, like, I'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, like old habits die hard. Yeah, that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
And that's why my approach is like small, tiny transitions, right? And adding the fun to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is the 10-15 minutes, and then maybe like 5 minutes increments, right? By week. And then when you do all the fun things, something that you are eager to wake up for, it's like me, like my mind and my body were associating the morning with negativity, right? And trauma. And that's why it was hard for me to get up. But when I discipline myself enough to wake up 10-15 minutes earlier to do something fun, and then, like, you know, I started to familiarize myself with that emotion at that time of the day in the morning. And
Mm-hmm.
then, like, slowly, after a couple of weeks, after 3 weeks, my mind and my body started to associate the morning as something good, as something fun,
Mm-hmm.
not negative anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And so that is when it starts to get easier for you to start adding more minutes to your morning. So you can
Mm-hmm.
add more things that you like. Like, you know, adding other things, like maybe juicing. I mean, it can be, you know, a little bit more of an effort, you know, but you are nourishing yourself, like, you know, you're so much healthier, but, you know, by doing that. Yeah. So that's kind of like increments.
Mm-hmm.
And like the transition that needs to happen
For
to
sure.
make it easier for you. But, you know, like, just like everything else, it really depends on the readiness and the capacity of people to receive, right?
Sure.
Like, you know, when they're ready to, just like, you know, when they make that decision, I don't want to, like, you know, be in depletion anymore. Then,
Mm-hmm.
all right, come and I'll help you.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I should
No, I
also
agree.
probably talk about like the relation of you know, the morning routine And before that, there needs to be a good nightly routine.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, that's so important too, because in order for you to have a good energized morning, you need to have, at least 1 or 2 nightly routine. Because, like during the day, our brains are very active, right? And at night, like sometimes for a lot of people who have a hard time sleeping, that is because their brains are still operating, like it's still spinning, from all these things that are happening during the day. So the nightly routine that of your choice, like, it could be a hot shower, a hot bath, right? Or meditation, or just like, breathing exercise, like with this essential oil diffuser, that's well, you could put on like lavender or something, or a relaxing music, or dim the light, right? It is to signal the brain that it's time to slow down and finally switch off. And so, yeah, and it's also important to remember to go to sleep happy. And what I mean by that is that before you go to sleep, like think of a couple of things, that you are grateful for, or, like a couple of things that went so well, and you're like patting yourself in the back for that. Because you know what? The last thing that you go to sleep with is the first thing that you wake up with. So it's like the thought, right? Whatever the last thing that the last thought that you go to sleep with, you would wake up with that thought. So if it's a good thought that you go to sleep with, a happy thought, then you wake up happy.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's important for that too. And also, like, having that decision of like, I'm going to have like a super restful sleep where my cell regenerates properly, and I will wake up refreshed in the morning, and visualize that and fall asleep with that, and that's what will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have like that feeling of like wired and tired, which like it's like your brain is like just can't stop going, but like your body is like tired. Like you're like, okay, I'm tired, but like, oh,
Yeah.
I've definitely experienced that in my in at times. Obviously, like disconnecting from electronics helps with that for sure. That's part of it for sure. But yeah, having the other like relaxing kind of things. And I feel like sometimes like just like writing things down, getting it out, because then it's not like you're just like worrying about things, or like it's or like the I hate when I like wake up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh, I forgot about this thing.
Yeah, your brain hasn't shut down yet properly, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, try that. Transition, just signaling your brain that, it's time to go to bed. Well, a friend of mine told me her technique of like saying goodbye to her work, like at night, saying goodnight to whatever she's working on, because it's time to go to bed. It's like, oh, that is genius. Setting boundary, right? And it's also like just kind of making a decision that time to go to bed now. Like, that's it.
Good night, computer.
Yeah, good night, work. I love it.
Yeah.
She's a genius for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did have like something in mind, but oh yeah, I was going to say like, how from this routine, because I've become so used to just high vibrating positive things, right? I am vibrating like, in a positive vibe, basically, right? And that's how you walk around, emanating just positive energy. And when you want to talk about like law of attraction, you are, whatever you emanate is what you attract, right? It's the people, the events, and so yeah, like that's also another reason of like, how when you're developing this healthy, happy energy that is constant within you, then you are creating a happy life for you. right?
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever you're attracting will be positive, and like, and you'll be happy about that. But I think like, another big thing for me is also it increases my sensitivity to things that are not aligned with me, like, value wise or energy wise. And so I become like, it kind of like gives me the idea of what doesn't feel good, and I could like quickly draw a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's also another important thing that I feel like, I have like, it's a skill that I have developed throughout this journey. Like,
Yeah, that's definitely something that a lot of people have problems with, but also I think because it's partly because they're so out of touch with what they actually want and need sometimes. But like once
yeah,
you're like doing the work of like really tuning into yourself, you're a lot more likely to be like, all right, I know what I want. I know what yeah, for sure.
yeah, I completely agree. So yeah, I do hope that, more people will try this out, not just the women, also the men. I do know that a lot of people, millions of people, wake up to jobs that they don't like,
Yeah.
right? But if you have a happy morning routine that is just for you, like, oh, the days would be so much easier. Like, you would be eager to wake up in the morning for you, not for your job, but
Mm-hmm.
for you.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it's
definitely.
for everybody.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we go, I always like to ask a few questions. I like to know people's how do you define fun?
How I
What does
define
fun
fun.
mean to you?
Mm. So when I start feeling this, like, kind of like ticklish feeling in my belly, and it makes me feel like exhilarated, um, and it puts a smile on my face or laughter, and I can't get enough of it,
Hmm.
right? That's fun.
For
Like,
sure.
good music, good food, something that is titillating to the senses and
Mhm.
makes me want more of it. Yeah, and that's fun. And I think that's just the natural state of every human. It's like, if you take out, like, all the conditioning, all the trauma, all the drama, right? Like, we are this, in the core, we're this spirit light that gravitate to love and fun and joy,
Mhm.
right? It's like children, when they're born, they're pure, and all they do is receive, and they radiate this love and light and cuteness, and all you want to do is to give love,
Yeah.
right? And that's what, the natural state of human, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. And we
Hmm.
get out of touch with it for sure.
Yeah. And so my morning routines are to clean that up. Like, I have healed so much in my mornings, because I lean to what feels good and what's fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I also like to ask people what their play personality is. This is based on Dr. Stuart Brown, who's like at the Play Institute kind of thing. So there are 8 play personalities.
Hmm.
There's the Joker, the artist, the explorer, the collector, the storyteller, the kinesthetic, the competitor, and the director, who is like the person that likes to plan things. Uh,
Hmm.
you can be more than one. What
Yeah.
would you
I
say are your flavors?
figured. I am an explorer, that I know.
Mhm.
I could be a storyteller. Yeah, probably those two. I think you also mentioned a couple more that I kind of resonated with. Director, I guess I can be a director.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit of that, but I think explorer is like the biggest one.
yeah. Well, and the kinesthetic, like the fact that you love dancing so much, like
Kinesthetic.
it's like that. Yeah.
Yes, and that's how I learn best, actually.
Oh,
Actually
okay.
doing it.
Sure.
Then yeah, then I get the understanding, right? Like, by
Yeah.
doing, then you understand, like, whatever. Like, yeah, the Chinese proverb.
Yeah, for sure. Completely.
Hmm.
All right, a couple more. What's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday, oh gosh, probably Thanksgiving. It's like no need for presents.
Yeah, yeah.
We just get together with people and, enjoy each other. Yeah. And actually after my divorce, like I was like, I stopped having Thanksgiving with my in-laws, but I have friends who became family,
Oh, yeah.
and we would celebrate Thanksgiving together. And that's just like the best. Like, the purity of it is like, we are here because, we enjoy each other's company and we are like family. It just feels so good.
Yeah, sometimes your chosen family is the best family, for sure.
Right? Yeah. So that's awesome.
What music is like your favorite? Like, what are some of your favorite?
Oh gosh, music. Yeah, I definitely have not been listening to popular music, at least the recent ones. Sometimes I would hear some Katy Perry, right? It's like, oh yeah, she's good. But like when it comes to music, I'm kind of stuck really with like the 50s to 60s.
Okay.
And sometimes even like Billie Holiday, like I think she's from the 30s or 40s. Like, Ella Fitzgerald, Nat King Cole, Louis Armstrong. Like those are just, undying classic that I can't get tired of listening to.
Yeah.
But for my dance music, I love Ben Rector.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's so happy.
Yeah.
It's like, all of his songs are so happy. And I like American authors. I kind of feel, yeah, I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, the song that I love listening to and dancing to is The Best Day of My Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But they
great.
also have like, like other songs that are like really good, but like their vibe, their personality are yeah, it's like, yeah, something that I gravitate to so much. So yeah, uh happy ones.
Yeah.
And I also like I like dancing too. Pharrell Williams, Happy. Is that his name, Pharrell Williams or Pharrell something?
Yeah, Pharrell.
Pharrell, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's so many songs that will make you just feel light, for sure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I also like the Lumineers.
I like
Yeah,
them too.
they're fun.
Yeah, yeah, I like that like folky, hand clappy kind of thing. Like I don't know what to call it.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that sounds beautiful. And I like some a cappella too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It all sounds like very, very feel good music.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been avoiding listening to depressing music. It's like, music about heartbreak, and maybe that's why I don't like country very much.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, the vibe is just not compatible with me anymore.
Sure. Totally get it.
How about you? What's your favorite music like?
Oh, I like so much different music, but I tend to I also gravitate to like older music a lot of times, but like a different era. Like I love like 90s, I think because it like reminds me of being a teenager. Like I'm just like, yeah, I remember this time in my life, like, and then 80s, not because I even remember a lot like the 80s that well, but like I just like 80s music, like The Cure and like
Oh, I like The Cure.
yeah. Like I mean, I could listen to Just Like Heaven for like every day for the rest of my life pretty much. Like, it's just such a great song. Like
Yeah. The Cure, I think some of it could be kind of depressing, and I kind of avoided it. I don't even remember why that is. Like, that's how much I avoided it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Snow Patrol is good.
Oh yeah. I remember them now. Yeah. That was
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, how can the audience get in touch with you or find you? Where they find you on social media?
Instagram mostly.
Okay.
So I will there's going to be some kind of a description,
Oh, of
right? Like
course.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I will send you my Instagram and my Facebook. So yeah, find me there. But I think the biggest thing is really on Instagram. That's where I hang out most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram is definitely better than Facebook. Like it just really is.
Yeah, I could be actually with Instagram, I could be so much more selective with what I want to see. It's
Hmm.
like my Instagram is just like, full of like, all of these inspiring people, inspiring quote, and like something educational, right? Like with Facebook, it's you just can't get away from the bad news and
Yeah.
like people's drama, and especially like, these people are like your friends. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, you can't really unfriend them. So you
Yeah,
just have
I
to
don't want to unfriend you,
I'm
but
still not gonna look at it.
yeah, I've definitely had to unfollow some people. It takes a lot for me to unfriend people, but I will unfollow. I'm like, I don't really want to see what you got going on here all the time anymore.
Yeah,
So,
right? Like
yeah.
taking control
Yeah.
of your life and your social media feed.
Yeah, you guys set some boundaries for your
Exactly.
mental health.
Hey, that's healthy. I love it.
It is.
Yeah, thank you for giving permission, for others to do the same, right? Like a
Yeah.
lot of us just kind of like, people pleasing. And I have just recovered from that recently, and
Hmm.
then there's still remnants of it. But I'm more sensitive to it now because I'm more sensitive to my needs. And that's like the most important thing. Because like when you're not sensitive to your own needs, and you're not kind to yourself and you're not being compassionate to yourself, you don't have kindness and compassion and sensitivity to other people
Yeah.
when you don't do that for yourself first, right?
Yeah. You get jaded and cynical and yeah.
Yeah, and I feel that's probably why like people are doing horrible things to each other in the world because they don't know how to be kind to themselves. So I
Hmm.
think like kindness needs to start like with yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. That was such a wonderful conversation. So many awesome tidbits. Yeah.
I am having so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. You're welcome. I hope you have a good night and a good week and everything.
Yeah,
And yeah, definitely.
absolutely. Yeah.
Bye. So I wanted to once again talk about a few takeaways that we got from this conversation. One, just start small. Start with 10 minutes and then weekly add another 5 minutes. And so it's really doable. Two, ask yourself what brings you joy and start there. If you like to do art, sketch, paint. If you like to dance, dance. But just start with whatever will make you feel happy and glad that you woke up early that day to do that. Three, remember you are in control of your life. And mornings are a good time to focus on yourself without others taking over your time. Four, self care is not selfish. You can't fill others' cups from an empty cup. Six, maybe? The more you experience joy, the more joy you get, the more joy you look for. It just pops out everywhere at you because you become attuned to what you look for. If you're gonna just one look for misery, you'll become attuned to it and everything will be awful. But you can choose to look for joy. Seven, it's tough to break old habits. We know that. It takes discipline. But if you keep showing up for yourself, even in just a little bit, you start to build confidence. And it eventually will take much less discipline for you to continue doing it. But, it's hard to start. What's that BoJack Horseman quote? I found the BoJack Horseman quote. It gets easier. Every day it gets a little easier, but you got to do it every day. That's the hard part, but it does get easier. So, it'll be hard at first, but you have to do it every day, and then it will get easier. I like that. It's so simple, but a lot of wisdom there. I love BoJack Horseman. That show is so good. Moving on. Whatever number this is, you need to focus on a nightly routine to quiet your mind and also to end on a happy note that will make your dreams sweet and you wake up happy because you end your day happy. And I guess the last thing that was a takeaway that I really loved about what she said was we need to remember that the core of us is love and fun. We are the way that we are because we've been conditioned to be this way. We came out full of joy and wonder, and everything was amazing and beautiful. And it was only after the world kind of beat on us that we became cynical and jaded and, have all our neuroses. But it doesn't have to remain that way. And so try to look at the world a little bit as the little baby, the little baby you that she once were. We know too much now, so we can never go back completely. But you can still be joyful and loving and fun seeking. So I hope you have a good week. I hope that you enjoyed this episode and that you'll come back for another one. You can find me at Fun is Fundamental on all the different places. It's in the show notes also. And I hope that you subscribe, rate, and review, and have fun, obviously. I really want you to have fun. All right. Love ya.